Okay, everyone, welcome to Strip Club.
Hello. Thank you.
This month's Strip Club presentation is the quilt we have hanging on the wall next to me. It is called XOXOX because when you look at it, don't you just see hugs and kisses?
Yeah.
And hugs and kisses and hugs. That's right, right? No, it's kisses. A kiss is an X, so it's kiss and hug and kiss and hug and kiss. Either way, it's a whole lot of love. In this pattern here, we use brown strips in this sample with a little bit of turquoise. There's also two background fabrics. There's a light background fabric and a medium background fabric. Do you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are also two blocks, block A and block B. It is made, this will actually be a fairly short presentation because it's that easy. It's made with the strip tube technique. Do we love the strip tube technique?
Yes.
Yes. Brilliant.
It is brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, and my samples will be different colors, but you can work with me, right?
Yes.
So collect your strips as listed in your pattern. You can get your pattern from your local quilt shop. Of course, we are your local quilt shop, so you have the pattern from us. XOXOX. And it's written for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sizes, including table runner, lap throw, twin, queen, and king. So I'll tell you all the yardage you need for each of those. Everything starts with 2.5-inch strips. In addition, you need light background and medium background. So collect your strips, and then cut your background and light background as listed. Now we're going to sew. We're going to sew as print strip to a light background, as so. So all the way across, make a strip set, make as many as the pattern says. Next we will sew a print strip with a dark background, as so. Press, make as many strip sets as the pattern says. Okay, now we will take one strip set, put it on top of the other strip set, making sure the background fabrics do not touch. Okay, you follow?
Yes.
So 1/4-inch seam up along the top and a 1/4-inch seam down the bottom to create a tube. Okay, so 1/4-inch up along the top and down the bottom. So imagine there's stitching lines up along the top here and down the bottom. Now we take our strip tube ruler,
Junior.
we can use the regular strip tube ruler, our original ruler, which is our best-selling item, and the thing is just fantastic. Now we can use baby ruler. This is strip tube junior, and junior is the same as senior, only he's smaller. Instead of going to 9.5 inches, he only goes to 6.5 inches. This is what they look like in the package. Strip tube ruler regular, and now junior. See how much smaller junior is? Okay, we're going to use junior for this one because junior is easier for the smaller cuts because there's less acrylic to contend with, less pointy pieces. It's better for the size. I equate junior with using a smaller square up ruler for smaller blocks. You can use a 12.5-inch square up ruler to square up a 4.5-inch block, but isn't it so much easier when you have a 4.5-inch ruler to do it? Same concept, that's why we have junior. So I'm going to show you how to use junior. Now with junior, we're going to place the designated line on the stitching line and cut up and down to cut out a triangle. Triangle looks, we're going to do it from the top first, a little like that, right? Okay, so the triangle looks like that. Pull it away. Are you guys ready? Yeah? Okay. Pull it away from your tube, open it up to reveal your diagonally pieced square.
Brilliant.
Okay, we're going to do that again. All right. So we place strip tube junior on the stitching line and cut up and cut down to cut out a triangle. Look, even the strip set was not happy with your response. So now we'll take junior, place him on the stitching line, cut up and down, cut out a triangle. Triangle looks a little like this, right?
Yes.
Then we pull the triangle away from the tube, open it up, to reveal your diagonally pieced square.
Brilliant!
That's much better. All right, well, it is brilliant. And then the next time we cut will be off of the bottom stitching line and then the top, the bottom, the top, the bottom. If you don't have strip tube ruler or you don't have strip tube junior, there are alternate directions in the pattern. So you don't have to have the rulers. We just encourage you to get the ruler because we've designed it to make this whole tube technique a whole lot easier. That horizontal line on the stitching line does make life easier. And if you don't have the ruler, you can get it from your local quilt shop. Most quilt shops now carry this ruler because it is so that popular and terrific way to turn 2.5-inch strips into great patterns. Interesting, when you cut out from a tube, you're going to get the same fabrics but in different arrangements. You will place your blocks so that you have the same arrangements, the same fabric arrangements together. You see how that is one arrangement? But now here are the same fabrics, but they are arranged differently. If you look at the leaf print, and here it is the long piece that's up against the middle seam. In this block, it's the smaller triangle in the corner. It's because we've changed the middle seam on the first cut is off of the top stitching line, and then the bottom one, the orientation of these fabrics change. So you will have to get 8 squares out of your strip set, and then you'll put 4 of one together and 4 of another together, and those will create block A and block B. I want to refer to my diagram to make sure that I get the picture correct. First you assemble block A. Block A will look like this. Right? Block A. And then you will assemble block B. And block B will look like this. Do you see why it is very important to keep your like fabrics together? Right? Okay, that is block B. So from one strip set, you will get one block A, you will get one block B. And you want all those fabrics to be the same because you want to create this effect with the same fabric. And if you start mixing up fabrics, you won't get that effect. You also won't get this effect. So you won't get the hug and the kiss effect. Block A and block B. So now when you put it into the quilt, you'll start with A, B, alternate across. The second row will go B, A, and alternate across. When those blocks come together, you will actually have these two pieces sort of hit each other to create an extension, a secondary design that goes from one block into the other block. And the same is true for the next blocks. That's why we have also 2 different background fabrics. The darker one goes into the X, and the lighter one really appears prominently in the O, block A. Very good?
Yes.
Okay, so you sew your blocks together by rows, add border 1, then add border 2, and you're done. It's that easy.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Thank you. It is brilliant. Yes, ma'am?
Can I ask a stupid question from the beginning?
Absolutely.
I've never done this before, and it doesn't say really how long to cut those strips, but it's got this stuff in parentheses. What does that mean, 6/15/28?
The strips are cut with the fabric, so it's the same width that comes off of the bolt. Most of the time that is 42 to 44 inches. Our patterns are always calculated at about 40 inches unless it says otherwise.
Oh, so you don't have to,
You don't have to do any secondary cutting. You just have to cut those 2.5 inches right off of the fabric off the bolt.
okay.
And then the pattern will also give you multiple sizes in the directions. The multiple sizes are the numbers in parentheses. So it will give you the smallest pattern size direction first. In other words, cut maybe 10 strips of background fabric, and then in parentheses it'll give you all the other sizes. The crow,
Oh.
then the laugh, then the twin, then the queen, then the king.
Okay,
Those are what the parentheses means, which means you can follow the directions for one pattern and then you just insert the number that's correct for the size that you're making. And here's a little tip. Whenever I work on a pattern, I will faintly circle my numbers right from the beginning of the size that I'm making. It's so much easier when you start off to know exactly what number to look at. For example, if you're making the queen, it is the second number from the right in the parentheses. So I will go through and circle all of those second numbers from the right, and that way when I'm making my quilt, I always know that's the number I need to follow.
So
That helps prevent any mistakes, and I do it in a light pencil so that I can erase it, and then have the pattern completely intact for the next time around. Or I make a queen the next time, or I don't erase it and I just color it with a different color if I'm too lazy, but you get the point. I sort of create some sort of a guide for me from the beginning. I will also put guides on the ruler. I will use OmniGrid glow line tape, or Hugo's Amazing tape, or even Blue Painter's tape, and I'll put it right up against my cutting line so that I don't ever have to think again. I know that is the line that I'm going to. So each and every time, that's what I go to, especially if you're using something like the strip tube ruler where it's going to be the same cut over and over again for the blocks, or if you're cutting the same strips over and over again for your initial cutting. I mark that line. Sometimes I take those round removable dots. Do you know those round dots? And I cut it in half. And the reason I do that, we'll cut it in half and the straight side goes right up against my cutting line. Now you say, okay, Daniela, well, that's great, but doesn't tape work the same way? Well, visually, the circle part of the round part of the circle tells me or the flat part tells me that's my cutting side, and the circle part says that's not. Sometimes if you use something that is straight, you could still make a mistake because your eye could go to one edge or the other edge, but if it's round, it'll never go to that edge. So that's why I sometimes use those removable dots. You just cut it, you'll get 2 out of them. You can put 2 on each side of your ruler. With one circle, you can have two measurements marked. Does that make any sense to you? Yes. Well, that's a tangent I wasn't expecting to do. Little tips from Daniela. Sure. That is brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. So did that answer your question?
yes.
And I don't think it was a dumb question at all. Sometimes we go so quickly over stuff that it's okay to slow down and start from the beginning. Always happy to do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes?
Now, don't get me wrong, because I do own a strip ruler.
Yes.
But I think it's kind that you put in the directions how to do it another way until somebody has a chance to buy their strip ruler.
Her very sweet comment started with, don't get me wrong, I do own the strip tube ruler, but she expressed appreciation for having the alternate direction. And we are really all about giving you the tools you need to make sure you can make the quilt. And then if we can find an easier way, we never want you to feel like you have to buy a ruler to have the pattern. If we can show you the other way, we will. But I will tell you that it is easier with the strip tube ruler. Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is easier. Just because that line is directly on your stitching line. You can't do that with a square up ruler. So thank you. Any other questions? Comments? Can you picture this in another colorway?
Not yet.
Not yet. We have a little formula down, a little pattern, you know what's coming? Well, let me inspire you. This is Kathy. Kathy's going to hold up our quilt. This is the same quilt in a different colorway. Can you get those? Very good.
Very pretty.
So, as it is December here in San Diego, and everywhere else. You guys just didn't jump on that. I thought you would. As it is December, we thought it'd be appropriate to get you inspired for a quick and easy Christmas quilt. So here are some strips of Christmas fabrics. Again, we have 2 backgrounds, a lighter and a darker. And then they come together to create this. This is the smaller size. Oh, I didn't tell you what size our original sample was. Our original sample was a throw, and it used 30 strips. This is a lap, and it only uses 12 strips. Pretty though, huh?
Yes.
You inspired to see it different ways? Yeah. With the combination of those 2 different background fabrics, you can turn any strip bundle into this pattern. The background does help give it shape. So XOXOX. Kiss, hug, kiss. Very good? Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you come back next month, and we'll come up with another pattern that uses 2.5-inch strips. Thanks for coming.